All right, y'all. Welcome back for another modern FNM at the Boardroom Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. I am Chris Ring. I will be your commentator tonight, and for round one at least, I am joined here by Mr. Last Spartan himself. He sadly got the bye tonight.
Free win, baby.
Free win. But he is going to be commentating with me here this first round.
Riveting matchup we got.
Yeah.
Affinity versus Affinity.
Yeah. Went out and asked the players. They both said they were on Affinity tonight. Also, do you want me to go out there and try to fix that little angle problem real quick?
That's fine. We'll
okay. So, yeah, we have Affinity versus Affinity. That's what they both told me they were on. I don't know how this is going to go. I would imagine George is on a pseudo classic Affinity list. I'm not too sure about Jonathan.
I mean, when they say Affinity, there's a lot of different versions they could be talking about.
Right.
They talk about Classic Blue, they could be like an Urza more built into, or they could be playing something with like Red, something quick with like Galvanic Blast. So, I mean, there's different many ways you can call Affinity.
Mm-hmm. And, maybe, I don't know if Jonathan is a newer player to Modern. Maybe he's...
I've seen him around a couple events.
Maybe he's calling like... I don't want to say Hammer Affinity, because Hammer's Hammer. I mean, there is a lot of artifacts in it, but...
I mean, we'll find out pretty soon what kind of decks are on when they start playing, laying their hands out. I think they're cutting right now. Let them get into this. Alright, let's hope for good sevens and some good magic.
Yeah.
That's what we're all about.
Hello, Alexandria. Welcome to chat. Sheriff Max, I see you were in there earlier.
The best mod, Alexandria.
We appreciate y'all tuning into this stream. We are going to make this the best stream that we can tonight for you.
We'll try.
Over time, I think you can agree with me here. It's going to be a step at a time trying to figure out, all right.
Yeah,
step at a time, getting the process perfect.
Sure, making things better here.
Right, over time. So I definitely saw he had some Saga. All right, so we're leaving on.
Man, we're starting.
Island, is it?
Welding
Jar, and Ornithopter. He has a Urza Saga in hand. Why he didn't lead on the Saga, I'm not sure.
He probably wants to make tokens, and you want to be the first land first so you can get both token activations. And he leads on, that's the artifact being bridge, I'm pretty sure, tapped. Pretty sure that's the black-red, or the blue-black artifact man. Not one for Affinity. Like George casting a Thought Cast, though. Going to draw 2 cards, right? Or 3 cards?
It's 2 cards.
For basically free. And George says go. I don't know what the other artifact is on the board there. Ornithopter for John. Looking through his hand. Maybe he drops that Urza Saga.
I think I also see an Urza Saga over here.
Well, looks like you're on basically the same list. So, fun times, mirror matches. Oh, there is a Dark Steel Forge. Citadel? George. No. It's the Intertribal Artifact one.
Yeah, Dark Steel.
Another Thought Cat. Man, we're Thought Casting.
All right, play for play. George does have the Welding Jar out that he can sacrifice.
Don't know the other Affinity, the other artifact in the field is for George. There's Saga. Here we go.
Is it a Midnight?
Could be Midnight, but George probably would attack for 1.
No, that's not a Midnight. That's a newer card right there. All right.
That's a Frogmite. Frogmite. And he's attacking for, looks like, maybe attacking for 1? Or this is John's at 18, so it looks like he attacked for 1 twice. Sojourner's Companion. That's what that
Sojourner's Companion and Frogmite. That's what's on the field right now. Yeah, I can see the leg of the frog right there. So you got a Frogmite and a Sojourner's Companion.
Comes a Cranial Plating, classic Affinity card, attaching it to the Ornithopter.
Ornithopter is a 1-2 now?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, I think. George is down to, looks like 16 off that, so it looks like that was correct call. +1/+0 for each artifact you control.
Alright, got a Darksteel Citadel from George here. Probably deciding whether he's going to...
Make Saga tokens, which
in Affinity is easier to play
there
Saga.
it is. There it is, Construct.
There's the Construct.
Not the Construct tokens that are made by Rope Arrow.
Oh, yeah, Rope Arrow, yeah. Those are...
The Boardroom.
Yeah, we'll show you when we get to sideboard. For those of you...
It's a big Construct. He's tacking in.
I mean, why not? I mean, John's tapped out. Why not attack in? Yeah, both these Affinity players are getting aggressive. George more so than Jonathan. Yeah, got a great start from George. This matchup may come down to
Play draw.
who creates the Construct first. Because that's going to be the big hitter.
It's also the size. I mean, George's got an 8/8 there, and Jonathan can make a 5/5.
Let's see, 1, 2,
The 2 lands
three,
there are
4
artifacts.
in itself is 5. Yeah.
Yeah, so Jonathan make a 5/5. I don't. That is a Treasure Vault. That is an artifact land. So I make it a 6/6.
6/6. So yeah, this is going to be
Kind of a little stalemate. He's passing, holding up the Saga activations. So
now,
see if George wants to run through it.
If George has a Shadow Spear in his 60 that he can get off this Urza Saga,
That'd be huge.
that would be huge. It'd be huge.
What's George doing? Making another token, or is he tapping for mana in response to the third activation?
He's letting it ride.
He
didn't tap it.
Well, we don't know that. We'll see. I mean, it's free to float the
There's
mana.
a relic.
So why shouldn't you?
Is that?
It's a Peyton Needle, I think.
No, I was looking at the land. It was one of those.
Ginger Brew? Oh, what thinking about Ginger Brew? If he had Cranial Plate, Ginger Brew would be pretty good here because he can get blocked, I think, by haste.
Is that a Haywire Mite?
Mite's not bad, but how does he produce the green right now?
I'm really wanting to see Shadow Spear here, honestly.
I don't know if any played it. Is that another World Eater? Bet Needle?
That might... It's an Innistrad card. Because it's the black and white.
Needle. Has to be Needle. He's probably needling naming Urza Saga.
More than likely.
And he didn't respond to it, so he can't tap the Saga. So, I bet Saga got needled here.
Now, does Pouting Needle, does it say opponents or does it say you?
No idea.
Oh, let's look it up here real quick. Active abilities, the source of the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. So, I don't know if it's Needle.
I'll go check real quick.
Because if it is, or I don't know that it's Saga named on the Needle.
I'll go see what it is.
Welcome, Alexandria. Thank you for taking care of that. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Alright, Construct's going to block the Construct. So he made a Construct off that Saga. So Pithy Needle wasn't named on Saga. What was it named on, good friend?
From the 4 with the players, I was told it is named on Cranial Plating. So you cannot move that plating off of his arm.
Okay, I don't hate that.
Well, if he had Sagas in hand, yeah, you don't want to name your own Saga. You don't want to cut yourself off. George got is that an 11?
That's an 11.
Woo, doggy.
It's a big boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's an 11.
I just wonder. I don't know what these decks like. You know, game 1 is basically a stalemate. Still someone.
There's Shadow Spear.
That's huge.
All right,
I think
because of that, you know, it
Gives
gains
John the
lifelink
advantage.
and trample.
Gives John the advantage.
That's big for Jonathan. Yeah. Yeah, that makes me think of Pauper elves. You know, when it comes to the mirror match on that, it's whoever gets the Viridian longbow down first to start shooting all the creatures. You know, this one, it might be, you know, who creates the A, bigger construct, or B, whoever gets the Shadow Spear.
It's a big Ornithopter coming in flying. George don't really have much to block. He's got trampled now. It is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
right.
8,
so
7.
Block,
Welding jar.
regenerate with Welding Jar.
To keep it alive. Jonathan's going to gain a whole heck of a lot of life.
And George is going to take a bit because of the trample.
George is reading Shadow Spear. George, a player who's been out of the game for a while, may not know some of these newer cards.
Yeah, George is making a nice return to Modern here. I'm happy to see George back.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good seeing player numbers go up.
Yeah, I mean, the game's fun. I mean, Modern's in a really good place. You know, I like more people here at FNMs are always fun. And glad to see a player step away from the game. I mean, I think everyone does it.
I've personally stepped away from at least the format.
I stopped playing for 3 years. Cold turkey when I was in college. So, like, I mean, everyone has that moment where they're like, I take a break. And then you come back and the game draws you back.
Yeah, it does. Fun. No, there's so much in this game that just makes it. It's like you say, there's a draw to this game.
I always like to say when I play the game, I will stop near Springleaf Drum for George there. He's just flooded the board, but the Shadow Spear's tapped, so he might he's making a construct. Big die. Thank you, George.
Yeah.
He's got here recount here. We got a lot of artifacts out there. But I gotta say, if I was going to say, being my last point, every time I play this game, I sit down, usually at a comp or EL event more than anything, and if I feel good about playing, I'm like, heck yeah, I'm playing the game Magic. It makes it all worth it at the end, you know?
Yeah.
The day I play an event and I don't feel that way, I think I should stop playing. And right now, format's fun, there's new decks all the time. I'm playing something spicy tonight. Maybe I'll be on camera next round, the one I buy.
Yeah, maybe we'll play against Affinity. I think that's going to go for you.
Now,
obviously, there's going to be an Affinity player, 1-0.
I'm not great against fast deck. It's a slow boy. I'm playing Keruga, so. Man, George's side of the board is just so cluttered right now.
You know, we went so hard here right out the gate from George, and you know, just the fact that these two creatures can stalemate George. It's kind of big.
Well, yeah, like you said, that's maybe Shadow Spear is what we call the Mirror Breaker.
I think it is. Like I said, in Pauper Elves, it's the Viridian Longbow. In this match, it might be the Shadow Spear. I mean, lifelink and trample. That's the deal.
And I think George passed back to John. Saga's on 2. Thought Monitor. That is a flyer with Affinity that lets him draw 2 cards. Basically a better version of Thoughtcast. I don't know exactly what the power system. It might be a 3/3 or a 2/2. Maybe a 1/1. Who knows?
It should be a 2/2 flying Affinity for artifacts.
Yeah, so he played 1 blue for that, which 1 blue draw 2, make a body, it flies. Pretty good.
Pretty nice. Pretty decent. Pretty decent.
I wonder if these 2 players, when they were coming to FNM tonight, realized they'd be playing the Mirror, or even crossed their mind. Because Affinity's a deck that, wow, good.
It's niche.
It's very niche.
It's very niche.
It definitely has been pushed out by different strategies in the format. So he is tapping 2.
2.
We take 1 for the Thought Monitor. You got Shadow Spear over already for the construct? Like I said, they're in a big stalemate here, and they're both dead. They're thinking, they're doing math. A lot of math going on here.
So I'm counting 10 artifacts on John's side.
I, for one, prefer playing Magic where I don't have to do the math.
Yeah.
What they always say, the math for the blockers. You get in there. You attack, make him do all the math. And I think Jonathan is just push his advantage. A lot of thinking happening here.
Math is for the blockers.
That's the thing about Affinity being a niche deck. You know your deck so well, but do you know how to play against your deck? That's something I think a lot of people got to figure out. Like, of course, when you're scooped it up.
So that cranial plating was adding 10 to the Shadow Spear, and then to the Ornithopter, the trample lifelink off of the Shadow Spear. That was probably more than enough with just George's 2 Ornithopters.
I'm going to say John got game 1. Should I check? Do you think?
I believe that's pretty concisive there.
Okay. It looked close to me, but again, I don't do the math.
And we'll definitely fix this once we see who's on the play.
True. Good call. Good call. Well, unless they choose to draw.
But why?
You're right.
Unless you're playing 8
right,
back, which we know these guys ain't.
So what they got the sideboard here for each other?
Here, I can do this real quick for us here. They might take a minute. All right, guys. So we're gonna look at this is just a list we pulled. It's neither of their lists. We're just gonna look at it real quick, get some ideas.
Haywire might definitely coming in.
Well, yeah. George had that one in the. You probably don't want Cage. Cage doesn't stop regeneration.
You might
bring in the second.
You might bring in the second needle. Now I don't know if they're bringing Metallic Rubric to fight over each other's stuff. I'm intrigued by that. You don't want Jailer. That's for Affinity. That's for Cascade. You don't want Orvar.
You don't want Orvar.
Looks like mainly Haywire might. Needle. You can make a
Needle.
You can make a discussion for Metallic Rebuke, but we'll see how the players want to play it. Maybe if you're on the play, you bring in the Rebukes, become more like a controlling deck. If you're on the draw, maybe it's too slow.
I can see that. Yeah, most definitely.
Let's get back into that. Looks like Jonathan's already done. Maybe he's a seasoned Affinity player. He's quick.
Maybe he's been playing Affinity since 2011.
What a time that was.
I couldn't even tell you the modern format in 2011.
Jund? Ring a bell?
Probably Jund and Twin.
I think you're probably right.
Was that the summer of Twin?
Might have been. I think it's way before the draw the winner.
Anyone in chat able to tell us when the summer of Twin was?
I'll give you a free 100 channel points. This kid, I don't know how to do that.
We'll figure it out.
Was it called the Summer of Twin? Banned in 2016, so definitely the Summer of Twin happened in 2016.
Well, it was the BNR for Twin was January 18th of 2016.
So 2011.
So might have been 2014, 2015.
Format in 2011.
Let's see.
Can we even
modern? Meta 2011.
It's like a way back machine for modern decks. They both players to figure out what they were sideboarding. It's like Jonathan just did sideboard.
Alright, so in 2011, Zoo was 15% of the meta.
Oh man. That's back when they were playing Curd Ape.
Affinity was 7%, Jund was 6%. So Zoo was by far the high.
But you see there, Affinity 2011. So you're right in the right area.
Yeah.
11%. That's pretty close.
Props to me.
Any Valakut decks in there?
Twin Exarch was 9%.
Okay.
Urzatron.
Lovely. I mean, it always will be around.
Yeah.
The deck that withstands formats throughout the years is always decent.
Ooh, this brings me back. Infect. Back when you had Probe for Infect.
I actually saw
Martyr Soul Sisters.
I actually saw Infect won a recent Modern event. It might have 4-0 to prelim. So
nice.
Yeah,
look, I still think Affinity is a heck of a deck. Or Infect is a heck of a deck.
There it is. There's the Construct token by Ribeiro.
Yeah.
Look how beautiful that thing is. That's the Flatwoods Monster.
Mm-hmm.
I am.
If we see a game 3 here, I'll definitely pull that up. So this is the first time I'm seeing these sleeves on camera. I kind of dig these translucent sleeves.
Depends on what kind of deck you're playing, though. I mean, if you're playing all the flip cards.
Oh yeah, you couldn't play like a Fable the Mirror Breaker deck.
Yeah. Is that a disadvantage nowadays with all these dual modal cards, flip cards in the format? Is that a disadvantage?
Yeah, because you say, oh, this guy's not like whenever he's shuffling, before you even see the first land or card played, you know that this dude's not playing Fable the Mirror Breaker or playing.
You can take him off some decks pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought about accessorizing. But of course, if you like it, play what you want on your cards. I mean, they look cool.
Yeah.
But there might be a comp already disadvantage to it. But at an FNM, I mean, St. George is on the play, so you got it right.
Correct.
St. George starts with a Treasure Vault into a Springleaf Jump into an Ornithopter to an Ornithopter. We are playing Affinity and taps for another artifact. That is
the Pithing Needle. Whoo, big hot turn 1 for George.
I'll see what it is.
That is a hot turn 1.
What's that needle on? Yeah. What's the needle on? What's the needle?
All right, y'all. I just heard Pithing Needle is on Shadow Spear. All right. So getting back into this here. See what George has got. Just dumped his hand pretty much. So Mistvault Bridge from George.
Pithing Needle is on cranial plating.
Cranial plating? I thought I heard Shadow Spear.
Oh, Shadow Spear.
Yeah, Shadow Spear.
Sorry,
that's what I thought. Okay.
My brain went.
All right, there's the Haywire Mite from John.
Well, I mean, that's just George taking the card that broke the mirror in game 1. He put jump a Shadow Spear in one of them.
George's Shadow Spear's in the mail. It'll be here next week.
Gotcha. I was like,
that's
when his Saga hit, I was like, he's got to be getting Shadow Spear here.
Yeah.
For those of y'all watching at home, we were just joined by Mr. Jeff, Mono Red Karn Guy. Look him up on Twitter at Mono Red Card Guy.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's still up.
Good.
His hometown is Pound Town, USA.
That's where he resides.
It's where he resides and stays.
It looks like John's got a Haywire Mite.
Yeah, he does.
But he doesn't have a Springleaf drum. Like George got a drum to make green mana and stuff like that.
George is
kind of like he's running ahead of this game.
Oh yeah, but he was like that game 1 too.
Play draw.
For George to just be getting back into Modern, this is his third Modern deck in 3 weeks.
So
he's trying to figure out what he wants to play.
He's exploring, right? Journeyman.
Kudos for adventuring worlds unexplored.
Yeah.
We'll clip that for later.
Clip that. Clip that.
We'll make it a sound bit. Worlds Unexplored.
Worlds Unexplored.
All right. There you take my spot on loop.
Hello, Mr. Hot Hands.
Log in.
All right. Alright, Springleaf Drum and the Haywire Mite got a Nettle Cyst out. So that Nettle Cyst is... That Nettlesis is a 8/8.
Nettlesis, another, what do you say, like cranial plating Saga effect, where you give a germ token the same plus a
Yeah.
control. I mean, for their part, I mean, this deck has been given some cards in recent sets to make it more better.
Yeah.
More better. Good word.
More better.
More better. Well, more position.
Look, Tony, you know, he plays Affinity quite a bit, and good old Tony Thopter brings him out swinging. Usually doesn't do too bad.
George got his own might, and George can actually pop the Nettlesis at that night if he wants. It looks like he tapped his Freeman's drum, so he can't do it this turn. I think might be huge here and having a way to. Yeah, he's reading Sis. I don't think he has a way to produce green mana though. Yeah, not having Shadow Spear is huge here.
If I would have known that, I think I have one he could have used. I didn't know he needed it.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was playing until I asked him.
So George just passed back to Jonathan.
You know, this might be like game one. George came out swinging out of the gate, got ahead super early. John played a little more reserved. Maybe that reservation just kind of helped him get ahead.
There's plating, huge. If Jonathan can find a green, make a green source for that might he has.
Well, he's got a Springleaf Drum.
Does he?
Right there.
So maybe he can use that might to blow up the Python Needle and go get him. Plating's going on Gingerbrute. George cannot block Gingerbrute. He doesn't have a quicker taste.
Blue. He tapped a blue and pointed towards the Quip.
Yeah, and here we go.
Swings in with the Brute.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I think it's 10.
10, yeah, you're right.
Because the Nettlesis is 10.
1, so 11. 11-1 with haste. George cannot block it.
That's down to 9.
George says go. Not great.
Also, we haven't seen Sagas this game.
No, it's been a very, I guess you would call it
This is
fair, as fair as you can get with
Yeah.
this deck. I mean, they are running out a lot of stuff for cheap. Yeah, there's might on the plating. George could have chose Gingerbrute, but decided the plating. I mean, I guess the right call.
I mean, he gets the plating off the field.
There is multiple platings though in the deck, so maybe you can't block the plating or the Gingerbrute. So George is at what, 11 now? That's a healthy number. Another thought monitor draw too. Tapping. What we got?
That's a Frogmite.
Good old Froggy.
That one land is a Mist Vault Bridge.
Yes, it's a new.
I didn't know they were indestructible.
Yes. Some of the decks, the Boom Bust decks, so we've been seeing the Crack the Earth decks, they play the red-white artifact land was indestructible.
I had no idea they were indestructible.
Yes. But they are artifact lands. So something like Karn the Red Creator. Let's stop that.
It's
Good
it's a Stony Silence.
So
Like Pithing Needle says, unless it's mana abilities. Karn just says activated abilities or artifacts can't be activated. Because it's like whenever you Karn to get the which side?
Far left. You just play. I think it's the blue spell bomb.
Aether Spell Bomb.
So you can bounce something here.
Oh.
And it's like George is scooping it up. Looks like Jonathan's going to get a quick 2-0.
Yep.
Handshake. We shaking hands. We kept it classy between the two Affinity players.
That was.
I mean, you see something. I mean, yeah, George missing the Shadow Spear really hurts him.
Yeah, but I definitely think George did make the right call on that Haywire Might when it came to the popping the plating. But still, you needed to have 2 Haywire Mites and 2 colored mana in order to work with the Gingerbrute.
Yep.
So that was just, he played his hand out really quick early, and
like I said, in the mirror, I guess just wait how you can get over once the creatures the fastest.
All right, y'all. So that is game 2 of round
Round 1.
1. Yeah. So what we're going to talk about real quick, you mentioned him a couple times, is boom, these beautiful West Virginia tokens, West Virginia lore.
They're great.
They are available online. They are getting a restock in very shortly. You can get an idea of them online. There's foil and non-foil.
Look at the constructs.
Oh yeah, no, the construct is.
That's my favorite one.
Oh, Flatwoods Monster, and
it's the one that has the most utility, seeing the most play. I feel.
Oh
like.
yeah. I would say the next one's probably the Angel.
It almost makes me want to play Angels in Modern, or Pioneer, so I can play with those tokens.
I solely bought the Mothman Angels because I run Starnheim Unleashed in Pioneer. That's why I bought them. But these cool thing about these tokens, Rope Arrow, he is a commander player at the Boardroom, and he did these tokens, and they're all West Virginia lore. There's the Mothman, the Grafton Monster, and the Flatwoods Monster. Here's the Grafton Monster.
Good for like commander players. Got like
3/3 beast. Yeah,
beast within. Create those tokens.
But the cool thing about Rope Arrow is he did these, and it ended up he has his own secret lair now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I might be able to pull that up. It's got some cool cards in it. Don't want Reddit. Draw your hand, secret lair. Deafening Silence, Eldrazi Conscription, Counterbalance, and Bruna Archangel.
Cool art. I mean, it's beautiful.
I mean, you can kind of see, you can see some of the aspects of this one, of his art in the secret lair.
I like the vibe it throws off. It's really cool.
Yeah. No. I just think what's really cool to me is it's a local guy. Mm-hmm. That's what's really cool to me. Watsy reached out to him and was like, hey, can you do a secret lair for us? And he was like, I mean, am I not going to say yes? Like, who wouldn't? If I had that talent, I would. But yeah, these tokens will be available very shortly, back in stock here at the Boardroom. Online, you can check them out, boardroomwestvirginia.com. They are our sponsors for the shop here. And, craft brews, games, magic,
what more could you
comics.
Want? What more could you want?
It's perfect.
Beer, cards, board games. I mean,
and like
super nice atmosphere.
What I love about it is it's a game shop first and a craft brewery second. That's what I love about it. Local brews too, so like local West Virginia brews. That's really cool to me.
Cool.
So yeah, we're going to go fix that camera a little bit, and we will be back very shortly. Until then, might try to see if I can bring Jonathan in here, see if he wants to do a little victory lap with us, and we will be right back. All right, guys, I am joined here with Mr. Jonathan, the winner of round 1 of this modern FNM tonight, here to do his little victory lap. And welcome, Jonathan. Thanks for coming in on the stream. Helps the viewers at home not have so much downtime in between rounds, and gives us an inside point of view from the players' gives us the inside point of view from the players that just played on camera. Also, we're doing what we can to make this, as best as it can be for people. So, pulled this list up. You said it was relatively close to what you have going on tonight.
Sure.
That match up with George, Affinity v Affinity. I was not expecting that tonight. Very niche deck right now.
Oh yeah, it didn't used to be.
Yeah, no, it used to be up there. So, obviously, what I want to talk about game 2.
Sure.
George turn 1. Ornithopter. What was it? Memnite, Pithing Needle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was a big turn 1. I was like, oh, that's. I mean, how did you respond when he said, what was it, cranial plating?
Cranial plating, yeah.
Or was it Shadow Spear?
It was cranial plating.
Cranial plating.
Well,
okay.
no, it was Shadow Spear.
Shadow Spear.
The first game was cranial plating.
Okay. I mean, how'd you feel when he said Shadow Spear? Because like Nick and I were talking when he was in here co-commentating with me, and that was the big near breaker game one.
Sure, it is. I didn't have any Sagas in my hand, and of course it's a one of. You bring in the mites post board. So you got 3 in there usually.
It just pop.
It's irrelevant until that happens.
All right.
I had one in my opener. It was just waiting to get blown up.
Right on.
Yeah, that's pretty much
now I do know George said he was waiting on a Shadow Spear to come in the mail. He didn't have one.
Yeah.
I like when he first cracked that Saga, I was like, all right, he's got to be getting Shadow Spear here. He's already got a big construct out on the field. Why not? And then I found out that he was waiting on one in the mail. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's rough, man.
Like, if I wouldn't have known that before, I think I have one with me. I would have been like, here, go ahead and use this.
Gosh,
yeah.
It sucks. Yeah, definitely, because he had the advantage that game, too. With game 1, he had the advantage with his constructs being so much bigger than mine. I was literally just jump blocking and trying to race with my spear, and had he had a spear of his own, it would have been a different story.
All right, man. Yeah. You want to... how do you feel Affinity is currently in the meta? Whether it's this meta or, the large meta.
Yeah. I don't know. It's always something that people probably expect to see in a modern tournament. Yeah, it's one of those decks that have been around for a while, and Saga's only made it better. It's fine. You get those surprise wins. Some people just aren't expecting an Ornithopter swinging for half their life total.
Oh yeah.
On turn 2. So you get those surprise wins, and then the people that are inexperienced with playing against it. So I mean, it's fine. It's got a good, decent matchup against most things, and you get counter spells post board for the ones that you have trouble against.
Yeah, the Metallic Rebuke.
So it's a fun one to play, definitely for an FNM. I had this in blue-white, and blue-white's not fun to play. So.
Well, it's not. It's not. It's not fun to play. It's not fun to play against.
That too, yeah.
But everyone has to have everyone has to play control at least once in their life.
The round started
already. Cool. That was quick. All right. Well, Jonathan, thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, no problem.
And go out there and hope to see more of you, my guy.
Thanks, man.
We will be right back. Going to. All right, guys, welcome back. We are here for round 2 of Modern FNM at the Boardroom in South Charleston, West Virginia. And we are going to actually have Spartan here, Nick on the right. I'm going to be playing Keruga Turns. Basically a taking turns deck that runs threats like Fury and Keruga, and he's just going to be, we're going to see a lot of turns from Nick, essentially. And then Matt McAllister here is going to be on Jund. Very, when you think mid-range, you think Jund. Remove the board, take care of the stuff, put down a big Goyf, and swing in. You also have Douthie Voidwalkers and Turoks. Alright, y'all. About to get into this here. Welcome to the first-time chatters, first-time viewers. Good to see the channel grow. Cavern de Gimme. Looks like we got that glare back. I'm going to have to see if the paper fell. We tried taking care of that glare. Ragavan from McAllister. Nick's doing a fetch basic island. 2 mana. Gonna petty theft the Ragavan back to Matt's hand. Brazen Borrower is one of my favorite cards in Magic. 3/1 flyer. There's an Inquisition from Matt. Let's see what Nick's holding here. Land, Fires of Invention, Narset. Narset's probably the right call there. Nick does get to 4 lands and plays fires, though. He is able to play 2 free spells per turn. As long as it doesn't exceed, I believe it's his lands in play. Nick going to 16. Another fetch. Fetches Steam Vents. Keruga to hand. Dash Monkey. Nick is taking it. Top card. Looks like a Fires of Invention. Kind of hard to see just due to the camera angle right now. Cracks the treasure for a Thoughtseize. So he's either getting Keruga, Fury, or Fires of Invention. He's getting the Fires. It's probably a good call. Keeps him from free spells. Also keeps him from pitching it to Fury. I do see now that Matt has Sagas. So Matt is on Jund Saga in particular. I just saw that. Nihil Spellbomb, Monkey, and we got Fire. Gonna hit the Monkey, hit Matt. I believe Nick only has Keruga and Fury in hand, plus the card he just drew. He said pass, so it's not a land. Dashed Monkey. Monkey connects, revealing a Jace the Mind Sculptor. JMS used to be the most powerful card in Magic. Maybe not Magic, but powerful card in Modern, and now he's not as strong as he once was. You know, you got 2 mana walkers like Ren and 6 now that just seem to have a little bit more power and influence in the game. Did flash in a Brazen Borrower. Saga comes off, and he's going to grab Pyrite Spellbomb. He's thinking about that Pyrite. Yeah, that's what we're going with here. Yep. Cracks a spell bomb. Draws a Ren and 6. Red, probably green off the treasure. Yep, Ren and 6. Ren and 6 is going to get back a Saga. No. It's pinging the Brazen Borrower. That way he can't swing in. Fury, taking care of Ren. Was unable to see what he pitched to the Fury. We know Nick still has Keruga in hand. Another Ren 6, picks up Saga. Saga. So Nick has a Fire Ice in hand, a Keruga, and he just played a Flooded Strand. Alright, at upkeep, ice down the Blackcleave Cliffs, I do believe. And in response, nope, it just gets iced. Saga. Goyf would be pretty nice here. Takes up Ren 6. There's the Goyf. There's the boy. So there's Planeswalker, Artifact, Creature, Instant, Land. 5/6 Goyf. I don't think there's enchantment. I think it's a 5/6 Goyf. Nick is essentially on a 2-turn clock. But Nick being the turns deck might have a few more than turns. Alright, so this is 6/7. So there must be a card type I am missing currently. Oh, sorcery. There was sorcery off of the Inquisition. 7/6 Goyf. Nick is thinking here. He's got 5 mana to work with. He wants to pass. There's the Keruga. So, whenever Keruga enters the battlefield, you draw a card for each other permanent you control, mana value 3 or greater. And then you're starting. So his caveat is your starting deck has to contain cards mana value 3 or greater, and lands. Take an extra turn off Nick. Untap. Was going to try to pull a turn tracker up there for you. Ragavan. going to dead gone the Ragavan. Ran in 6 up to 7. If he ults, I think Nick probably concedes. Could be wrong on that, but totally a thing that could happen here. Shocking in a Steam Vents. Nick's in a rough spot here. I believe that was a Day's Undoing there. So with Day's Undoing, each player is going to shuffle their hand in graveyard into their library, then draw 7. Now, where that's really good for Nick is he runs Narset, and Narset says opponents can only draw 1 card on each turn. So the idea is you have Narset down, you cast Day's Undoing, and then you refill your hand, and they only draw 1 card. That's the nice little combo wombo there. So, see what Nick plays here. Has a Fire Ice to keep the Ren and 6 off ult. Nurturing Peatland from Matt. Swings in with a big old Goyf. Nick takes 1, goes to 5. Don't know how much more removal he has. Petty Theft? Petty Theft off of Brazen Borrower. Nick's deck is like the Bee Gees right now. Staying alive, staying alive. Alright, there's the Narset. He's going to tick down, look at the top 4 cards, reveal a non-creature, non-land card, put it into his hand, reveals a Dead Gone. Then he'll take the rest of them, he'll put them in a random order, shuffle them, and put them on the bottom of his library. So he can Gone the Goyf when it goes to attack. Matt does have a Construct. That Construct is a 1-2-3-3 Construct. Creates another Construct. Okay. 4 4s all around, 5 5s all around. Nick, I don't know how you get out of this, buddy. You got 1 gone, dead gone. That Day's Undoing may have saved Nick a couple turns. but don't think it's going to save him the game. Yep. Alright, so we're going to be going to game 2. That was game 1, going over to Mr. McAllister here. Alright guys, while they are sideboarding, I do believe I have Nick's list up here. I could be wrong on that. But I do believe I have his list up here. So let's see if we can take a look real quick before we get back into game 2 for this one. So we do have 4 copies of Fires of Invention. That's one of Nick's all-time favorite cards. So basically he's able to cast his spells for free as long as it's equal to the number of lands he has. So Narset is part of the Days Undoing combo, as I mentioned earlier. Days Undoing, only able to draw 1 with Narset out, the opponent is. And he is able to play Fury, even though he's partnering, or able to play Brazen Borrower, even though he's partnering Keruga, because Brazen Borrower's total CMC with Petty Theft is going to be 5. That's nice. And then Chandra Hope's Beacon lets his extra turn spells be doubled. That's really cool. Wouldn't mind seeing this tonight. It does look like it's possibly a one of, so might not see it tonight. Hopefully Nick does, because that would be really, really hot. That being said, I believe they're almost ready to go to game 2, so let's get back into these guys. See you soon. Alright guys, do want to welcome everyone into chat here as we get ready to go into game 2. We are live at the Boardroom in South Charleston, West Virginia for this modern FNM. For those just joining in on the stream. As we said, in between round 1 and 2, Boardroom, really chill place to be. Amazing environment. They've been great people to work with for the stream. They really a top-notch store. Really clean, really nice. Really relaxed environment. Sit in the back, play some Magic, play any board game you wish. They have even some on display for you to use, and then drink a cold one. It's really nice. Had a nice craft vanilla beer earlier. I hope that one stays around for a while. Alright. Nick's going to be on the play here. Flooded Strand. Passes it over to Matt on Jun Saga. Probably going to lead on a Fet Shock Ragavan from Matt. Yep, Fet Shock Ragavan from Matt down to 17. Nick does have ways to deal with that with 2 mana. He has Fire, he has Dead Gone, and he has Petty Theft. So he does have ways to deal with a turn 1 Ragavan if he's on the play. He also has ways to deal with it if he's not on the play in the form of Fury. But that is a lot just to get rid of a monkey. Alright, goes to swing. It gets fired. He said, "You are not allowed to work here, good sir. Monkey cannot stay." Tarmogoyf from McAllister here. Goyf's not too big. I believe 3. We have instant land creature for making Goyf a 3/4. Nick's going to go turn 3 Blood Moon. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. Plays a mountain. Swings in with a 3/4 Goyf. Nick goes down to 16. Is that Blood Moon going to be enough for Nick? Maybe not. Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. Fable of the Mirrorbreaker comes in. Saga. Chapter 1, he creates a 2/2 goblin that says whenever this goblin attacks, you create a treasure token. There he is. Thank you, Nick, for that goblin shaman token. And chapter 2 on it says you may discard up to 2 cards and then draw that many cards so you can loot. Then chapter 3, Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, turns into one of our beloved all-time favorite cards, Kiki Jiki. You know, we say that a lot, between Aaron, myself, anyone who comes on here, some of our favorite cards. Some of our favorite cards are here in Modern. There's just so much about the game that makes it a great experience to play. Seeing Tarmogoyf, that's one of my favorite cards. Dead Gone, beautiful card. Alright, we have a Otawara from Nick. However, it is just a basic mountain due to that Blood Moon. Viewers, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to do my best to answer them. Blood Moon's putting in work. I just don't know how much work it is truly putting in. Nick has had Fire Eyes, Dead Gone to deal with things. Nick gets Keruga to hand and passes the turn. Fable trigger. Matt almost missed that, getting excited, swinging in with that Goyfy boy. There is a Chandra Torch of Defiance. Was not expecting to see that card tonight. That is beautiful. You're going to tick up, reveal the top card. He can cast it until end of turn. And it deals 2 damage. So Nick is not in a good spot here. Not in a good spot. But he also wasn't in the best of spots game 1. There's a Fury. Probably going to kill that Kiki Jiki. But probably going to kill that Kiki Jiki with that Fury. Yep, 2 and 2. Unholy Heat on the Fury. Ragavan. Yeah, that's game. Matt just swings in here. That's enough to be game. And even if he didn't have the monkey, he could have ticked up the Chandra, and that also would have done it there. All right, so that is going to be the end of round 2. I'm going to see if I can get Matt in here to do his brief little victory lap, and we will be back shortly. Enjoy this music, compliments of Phil and Bowen, and we'll see you soon, guys. What is up, y'all? I am here with the winner of round 2, Mr. Matt McAllister here, and we are going to have a brief victory lap with you. So you had mentioned that you are doing some things that are not typical of a Jund Saga list tonight. What are some of those things that you brought to this FNM?
Basically, I just wanted to get back mainly to playing some Lily of the Veils. It's just a personal pet card. I can't swear to how good it is in this meta. I know previously I did like it against like Murktide, but it's probably not so great against like the creativities and anything super linear like the Titans or the Hammers.
So why Lily over something like Shieldred's Edict? I know she's a little more versatile.
It's just like the whole goal of Saga, you want to push to the mid and late game. Like you want to take over with Ren and Saga loops, and that just is another strain on your opponent's resources.
Okay. Let me ask you this. As a longtime Jund player, how do you feel about the introduction of battles for Tarmogoyf?
I mean, they're certainly fun right now. I know a lot of people are trying them. Most commonly, the Hex Mage and the Green Invasion. I think it's Ikoria. I've been seeing a lot of those.
Are you yourself playing any battles?
No, I'm not. I thought about a couple and never got around to playing them. Like there's a red green one that's like a filter draw 2. I have no idea what it even flips into.
I haven't looked at all the
I think
battles
it's like
yet.
Argamon or something. But the old Hex Mage into the 7/7 or 8/8 on the green one, it's probably good. It's just kind of gimmicky, and that's not what I like to do with my Jund decks.
It kind of brings like a turbo depths feel from Legacy into Modern a little bit. It's not land rooted, but it's battle rooted. Just remove all the counters and flip it into something big and stupid.
I mean, you definitely should try it because like it's not a big commitment. Like the Invasion alone by itself is a good card. It's like an extra mana Green Sun Zenith, and you don't need to put 4 Hex Mage in your deck because the Invasion will grab it from your deck or the graveyard.
So, in this newer Jund Saga outlook, do you miss like Dauthi Voidwalker or Turok at all?
I mean, I got a Turok in my sideboard.
Mm-hmm.
Dauthi was always a strain on like Jund's mana. Like it was tough to, want to play Dauthi and Ren and 6 on turn 2.
Yeah, because if you're playing Dauthi, you have to have double black.
I think Douthi's firmly a Rakdos card. Like it's fine in any sort of iteration of Rakdos. You want to play scam, mid range, aggro, whatever. It's a perfect card there, but it's too much of a strain for Jund, and at the end of the day, Ren's a better card.
I had mentioned that earlier when I think it was game 1 when Ragavan connected and it revealed a JMS, Jason the Mind Sculptor. I was like,
I would love to be able to play that.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I had made the comment that Jason the Mind Sculptor used to be one of the most powerful planeswalkers in Modern. And now you have cards like Ren and 6, 2 mana, let me just have a Saga loop or a Boseiju loop, or, let me just remove a small dude that's a problem to me, and then it has a game-winning ult, if you have a bold or, big, powerful, impactful instant sorceries in your grave.
Yeah.
So, Jace the Mind Sculptor used to be the hot planeswalker in Modern, and, he was so good he got banned. Or did he ever make it in? When
I'll be honest, my memory's not that good. I'm not sure if he was pre-banned when the format was. I want to say he was pre-banned, and then he got unbanned.
Unbanned with Stoneforge Mystic and Bloodbraid Elf. That's a card I do miss in Jund. Is Bloodbraid Elf.
It's not good.
I mean, free Goyfs, free Fable the Mirror Breaker. I guess the worst thing to hit is like a Ragavan.
That's the point. Is like you're playing this 4-mana card, and if you want to justify it, like you want to be flipping into like 3s and 2s, and where Jund's headed, like you're maximizing it out on your 1-drops, like your Ragavans, your discards, your removals,
all your artifacts now for Saga,
and then like 4 mana for a Bloodbraid's already a steep price to pay, and then if all you're getting is a free 1-drop out of it, it's lackluster.
Yeah. All right. Well, Matt, I appreciate you coming in here, doing a quick little victory lap, and we do hope to see more of you tonight. You know, you're 2-0 on the night.
I'll try.
Hope to see more of you tonight. Hope to see you back in here. Y'all, we are going to be right back. I want to go check on a few other matches, see how many are left for the night, for round 2, and we will be right. Alright, so we have Binding Blade versus Rhinos here. Peyton's already got his hand, and we are going to be going live. Peyton's going to control the field, and we have Leyline Binding. Leyline Binding is a 6-mana, 1 white and 5 enchantment with Flash. That says, when it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. So it can deal with a lot of things. We are going to fetch, shock, and suspend a Crashing Footfalls from Elliot. Rhinos has a lot of interaction. I probably missed the entire plug because I didn't realize the mic was off earlier. But Rhinos very, I would call it a fair deck with some unfair options in it. Very interactive deck. That is one thing I do admire about Rhinos. Peyton goes Plains Pass. Got a Rogren Triome from Elliot on Temur Rhinos. Glacial Fortress, Stoneforge Mystic. More than likely going to be getting a Cauldron Complete here. Yep, there's the Cauldron Complete. Heck of a magic card. 7 mana for a indestructible artifact equipment with living weapon. Whenever it enters the battlefield, living weapon triggers, you create a 0/0 germ, and then that germ will be attached to Cauldron, and Cauldron gives the creature indestructible, trample, first strike, haste, and whenever it deals combat damage, you exile the blocking creature. Elliot is going to Violent Outburst into a Crashing Footfalls, creating 2 4/4 Rhinos with trample. We will see what beautiful tokens he is using tonight. He is using the Chris Ring custom tokens I made for him. I love those. Not because I made them, just because they're probably one of the best tokens I've personally made. It's got Elliot's face riding a Rhyhorn into battle, going through the forest. Alright, I do believe that Peyton just prismatic ending one of the Rhinos. Activate Stoneforge, putting Cauldron into play. We're going to get 2 more Rhino tokens off of another Violent Outburst. Then we're going to have 2 more at Elliot's upkeep. Alright, Castle Vantress Plains and a Mystic Sanctuary for a 3 fairy. So unless he gets rid of this Teferi Time Raveler here, that Rhinos will just stay in exile, never to be cast, because the Rhinos will come off at instant speed. Debating on whether he wants to swing with that Cauldron. He has no reason not to, in my opinion. If Elliot blocks, it will exile the Rhinos. Alright, Elliot's got, I believe, Dead Gone and Steam Vents. Steam Vents is now on the field. Elliot can't really... Yep, there's the Dead Gone. He's going to attempt to Gone, and then it's going to get counterspelled. Man, Elliot got tore up over that. Moving everything around here. Swings in with 2 4/4 Rhinos with Trample. He's guaranteed to at least get 2 points of damage in here. He will lose one of the Rhinos, however. Alright, so he's going to block with a Cauldron. He's going to take 4 on the chin. There's another Teferi. Bounces the other Rhino. Peyton is at 16. I don't think he's fetched any. I don't think he's shocked. Alright, we're going to game 2. Elliot gave it to Peyton there after he played a second Teferi. Alright, as these players go into round 2, game 2 of round 3, let us bring up a Temur's Rhino list in Modern. Don't know if this is what Elliot is exactly on tonight, but this one looks fairly stock. So while they're sideboarding, let's talk about Rhinos. Alright, so Rhinos, great deck. Honestly, one of my personal favorite decks in the format. We do have cards like Bone Crusher Giant to remove threats and also become a threat itself. We have Fury, which is great removal. Shardless Agent is what allows you to get that Rhinos, just in case you don't understand how Footfalls works. You have a spell with Cascade, and whenever it cascades, you exile cards from top of your library until you find an exile card that is less mana cost than what is cast. So you roll until you find something that is mana cost 2 or less, but there are none in the deck except Crashing Footfalls, which is 0. Big old goose egg. Then Crashing Footfalls will get cast off the Cascade. You will create 2 4/4 Rhinos with Trample, as we saw earlier. Fun deck I wish that I had a chance to play, and I do have the chance to play it, given that Spartan is a resident Rhinos player, even though he's been playing a lot of different things here lately. So some of the things he could be bringing in here is Blood Moon for the Leyline Binding, if he is running those. Mystical Disputes to counter some of those counter spells. And then if he's running something like Foundation Breaker to get rid of some artifacts, he does need a way to exile the Cauldron. But he can use, if he's running Brazen Borrower on the side, he's able to use that. But yeah, let's get back into the gameplay here. They look like they are shuffled up, and we will see you soon. Pardon me. Alright. Getting our hands here. I see Rhinos in hand, double Violent Outburst, Shardless. So he's got all the Cascade cards, no interaction. I do believe he is keeping it. He may have interaction, I just didn't see it from the hand there. To those of y'all joining in the stream, welcome, welcome. I do see we have Alex back in here. Welcome back, Alex. Playing some Modern tonight. Going into game 2 of round 3. Peyton is up a game against Rhinos. Alright. Elliot, Wooded Foothills. And he's got a Footfalls in hand. He might as well fetch Shocked, but he doesn't. He passes. We're going to have a fetch Triome from Peyton here. And then we have fetch Triome from Rhinos. Alright, suspend Footfalls. Peyton goes fetch land. Don't know what they're looking at here. Maybe it's the... Alright, that's a burn. That's a burn hand from the match table 2. Alright, we're back into this game. We have Otawara. We do have a glare back. We will try to fix that for round 4. Violent Outburst. Let's see if Peyton has a counterspell. Does he? He does have a counterspell. Counterspell the Rhinos. I'm really liking what Peyton has going on with this whole binding control. I myself am a Stoneblade player at heart, for those of you who didn't know. Been taking a step back from Modern to help the channel, as well as just a personal refresher for me. You know, doing this keeps me up to date with different cards in the format. Stoneforge Mystic, great card. We have a Teferi Time Raveler here that will stop a suspended Crashing Footfalls, but Elliot does have ways to remove Teferi, especially Peyton being tapped out. You have Fury that can almost kill it. Alright, but back to Stoneforge. Shardless Agent. Shardless Agent's going to find a Footfalls. But now this is just kind of a pressure card. Alright, so back to Stoneforge Mystic, what I was trying to get to. Stoneforge Mystic, beautiful card. 2 mana, white and 1. Comes in, tutors an artifact, and then it has the ability to pay 2 mana, tap Stoneforge, and put that artifact into play. That's how you're able to cheat out a big, dummy, thick card like Cauldra Complete. Man, looking through this entire deck here, we're looking. This Footfalls must be on the bottom. He's going to choose not to cast it. He does have the option to. Nice little, basically a shuffle for Elliot there. He's going to choose not to cast it because of the Teferi Time Raveler. Teferi static just says opponents can only cast things at sorcery speed, and the way Cascade works and Suspend works, it'll happen instantly. If you do choose to cast the card off of a Cascade effect, but you kind of have to, with the Suspend, it automatically happens. You don't have the choice there. It automatically gets cast. Elliot needs a way to remove a Teferi Time Raveler on 6 here. Alright, Teferi Time Raveler on 7. So whenever you tick up Teferi Time Raveler, it says you may cast sorceries as though they are instant speed. Brazen Borrower is going to Petty Theft Teferi, or attempt to at least. Alright, let me check real quick to see exactly what happened there. I may have missed a counterspell from Peyton. Actually, looks like they are D-sideboarding. Yeah, they're D-sideboarding Talking, so it looks like Peyton got that one. I will be right back, y'all. In the meantime, enjoy some music from Philip Bowen, and we will be right. Welcome back, y'all. Sorry for that brief intermission. We are here with the victor of round 3, Mr. Peyton here. We are going to be talking a bit about a blue. I mean, you're essentially playing blue-white control with a Stoneforge finisher as opposed to like a Hero of Dominaria WinCon. Now, you know me. I talked about it a bit in the game. I'm a Stoneforge player at heart. Now, I was Junk player at heart. But then I had my mid-modern crisis instead of midlife crisis. And now I've been playing Stoneblade for like 2 years. So you said you're doing this for us. I mean, you're doing this just to, you're doing this to show that Stoneforge Mystic can be played in more decks than just, I mean, what is your reason for playing Stoneforge? Just because it's a great card? Because it is?
Well, I started playing Stoneforge Mystic because when I was playing Control, most nights or most weeks that I played, I ended up having like 1 or 2 draws, and I don't believe I play slow, but my games were going to draws just because I didn't really have a reliable finisher like where I play. Like my Typhoons were getting dealt with by Besieges or Fatal pushed away or anything like that. My Walkers got met with Unholy Heats, and I could control them to where I wouldn't die, but we would just go to time like every time, and it wasn't fun. So I was thinking of a way that I could kill people faster without having to switch to 4-color or go back to playing Black Red Rock or Scam or anything like that.
So, do you lose anything by going... Alright, so, like, I know in Pioneer for me, I almost never want to do something on turn, like, 2 or 3, because I want to hold up that counterspell, that Absorb. For you want to hold up that counterspell, that Dovin's Veto, that Archmage's Charm. Do you feel like you lose anything by going, because you did it there, going turn 2, Stoneforge, get Cauldra? I mean, do you feel like you lose anything there?
The reason in this matchup that right there, when on turn 2, I just slammed the Stoneforge. Of course, we know I was on the draw as well. Him playing the Ketria Triome on his turn 2 told me that he didn't have a Fire Ice. So I went ahead and I slammed the Stoneforge. Also because when I get the Cauldra, either that forces him on his turn 3 to either devote and kill my Stoneforge, or just go for Rhinos of his own. Of course, he ended up he had Violent Outburst, which was good for me. He cast the Rhinos while I had my shields down there, and I knew that in my hand I had Teferi, and that once I had gone ahead, I had Teferi ending, so on my turn 3 I could just ending one of the Rhinos to take the pressure off myself.
Yep.
And leave the Cauldron up so that he couldn't attack me, and he knew I had Cauldron up, but I mean there's nothing he can do about it unless he has a bar.
So, I mean, would you say Teferi Time Raveler here? You would say he was the card of the night on that round?
Yes, Teferi is
Oh,
the best. Teferi is the best card in the matchup.
I mean, stops the Cascade, stops the Suspend. Now, well, let me rephrase that. It stops the Cascade to a point because they have the option to choose whether or not to cast it. But it just stops the Suspend altogether.
Yeah.
Teferi, freaking beautiful card. Honestly, I would say, we had talked about this with Matt a bit about Jason the Mind Sculptor.
Mm-hmm.
I would almost go out on a limb to say that Teferi is a little bit more powerful than Jason the Mind Sculptor in some aspects.
I think that where we are in Modern, that Teferi is better because he slows decks down more efficiently than Jace does. But you're never like Teferi. They act in different ways.
They
like
do.
if I were to compare Jace to another Planeswalker, I would be comparing Jace to Big Teferi or Shark Typhoon. Like he's a finisher Planeswalker. Like if I'm playing Jace to slow down bleeding, I'm probably not winning the game, or I'm in a bad position. But Teferi is kind of a Planeswalker that's meant to control the board, so I can get to the point where I can cast those, or in my case, play my Stoneforge, protect it, get a Cauldron or Batterskull out, or a Geist, and just start going to face.
Well, one other thing that's really nice with Teferi here, Time Raveler, with Time Raveler in a Leyline Binding deck is you can reset that Leyline Binding.
Yeah.
That's also really nice. Just having that option to do that. We didn't see any bindings in those two games. Those games were really quick for what I was expecting. But so this is fairly close to the list that you're playing. You said you've cut Teferi, Hero of Dom, and was it Deluge?
I don't play Deluges. I don't play Heroes. I don't play Vetoes. I'm only on, I think, 2 Charm. I'm only on... I used to be on 1 Dress Down, but I noticed that Saga was giving me a lot of trouble, so I went up to 2. I think I'm on... I want to say I'm on 3 Binding.
Okay. So, let's talk equipment package.
Mm-hmm.
You have Cauldron.
Yeah.
Sword of Fire and Ice, I'm sure. Batterskull?
Yes.
Any other, or just those 3?
Just those 3.
Okay. All very strong cards. Are you running like a Castle Ardenvale or Hall of the Storm Giants secondary win con?
I play an Ardenvale and a Vantress. I put the Ardenvale in the night because I've liked it before, and it makes my... Well, I don't have as many creatures. Like I went up on onto 2 guys tonight, but originally I only had like... I think I only had 3 Stoneforges in my deck because I accidentally put one away and couldn't find it. But I found it, and now I'm on 10 creatures. But now that I have actually 11 if you count Skrelv.
4 Solitude, 3 Stoneforge. Sorry,
I went up to 4.
4 Stoneforge. What are the other 2?
2 Geist and 1 Skrelv.
Geist of St. Draft.
Yeah.
Whew. Whew, that is hot.
It is.
I wish I would have saw Geist. I love Geist of St. Draft. Just Angel. We'll get to that Angel in a second. Also, so Castle Ardenvale, I play them myself in Pioneer. I know they're 2 vastly different formats, but I do know it is nice. Just you didn't spend a turn countering anything. You have the open mana. You're just like, you know what, create a dude. Slowly you can just get like 3-4 dudes, and that starts to overwhelm the board a bit, and it's just, it might be chipping away at the life total, but with fetches and shocks, people chip away at the life total themselves, so that might just be enough just to get the job done. Castle Ardenvale, great card, and it's came down a lot. $1.
Yeah.
Oof. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Alright, so Geist of St. Traft. Let me pull up that beauty.
The Ardenvale is really nice for that purpose, but also another reason it's really good is that it gives me access to basically as many creatures as I want in my deck, because it's 1/1s, and that way my swords, Battle Spells, and Cauldrons aren't dead once I have them. Of course, I could get punished, like I go to equip the Cauldron to it, it gets Fatal Pushed or bolted, but I have to live with that.
Or someone gons the token, sends it back to your hand.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. No, I like that. I like that a lot. Easier to equip a 1/1 than it is a Hall of the Storm Giants. A lot easier.
I'm only
right.
24 land as well.
So, for those of y'all who don't know Geist of St. Traft, this isn't his OG printing, but he is a beautiful card.
He is.
And he's really hard to deal with because he's hexproof.
Yeah.
Like, you can't solitude it, can't fury it. The only way you can deal with it is to counter it or a edict effect. Only way that you can really deal with it.
You can block it. That's the biggest problem with him, is that he gets blocked. But that's why when I like to put my Geist out, I usually, if I get a hit in, they'll start playing their creatures. If I can't kill them, like either ending to fairy bounce, solitude it, I'll try my best to either get Skrelv down and active, or I'll just go ahead and get my Sword of Fire. Try to get my sword on him. That way, when he hits, he's 2/2 hexproof, play blue-red, 4/4. Brings an angel out when he swings, and whenever it hits, he shocks him and I draw a card.
You're talking about speeding up the control game. I think Geist is a great way to speed up the control game. I really do. What are you using the Boardroom Angel tokens?
I am not.
Oh, we need to get you some. Have you seen them?
I have not. I haven't seen any tokens yet.
Yeah, here's the Boardroom Angel tokens. They're Mothman. They're 4/4 flying angels. Is that an angel? No.
I like them.
Yeah, they're great. They might even have a couple in stock in store. Online they're sold out, but they are doing a restock. Might be something to get into. I know you yourself, you like foil. They have them in foil. Yeah, no, it's part of the creature collection. We talked about it a bit earlier with Nick. We got 3/3 Beast, the Grafted Monster, and then last but not least, Urza Saga Karnstruck tokens.
Unfortunately, I don't play any Saga, but
Yeah. But no, look into those angels. Why wouldn't you not swing a Mothman? Alright, so getting back to Geist, and getting back to Fairy.
Mm-hmm.
When I had mentioned earlier about leyline binding, resetting your binding, have you thought about playing something like Spellqueller?
no.
No?
No.
Any reason?
Spellqueller. So I added Geist, right? He's 3 mana.
Mm-hmm.
He's a 2/of. Teferi's a 4/of. He's 3 mana.
Your 3-drop, you're glutton at the 3-drop.
It would start to build up with my 3-drops, and also I don't like. Okay, so Spellcaller is a 3 mana 2/3.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot block Brazen Bar. It cannot block a Delirium DRC.
It can block a Brazen Borrower, but just trades.
Yeah, which is, it's the purpose of the card is to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that it would do much for me. I don't think I would gain.
Okay.
I think I would be putting a card in my deck that I would just spend 3 mana. If they kill it at a bad time, because I couldn't protect it. Like, I mean, with Teferi, I can make them try to kill it on their turn, which would be something that would be. It'd probably be cute, but like if
it might just be a cute card.
Yeah, it's a little cute.
But obviously, deck's doing well for you tonight. You're 3-0. Let's see here. We're getting
Technically, I'm 6-0.
6-0.
Yeah.
You haven't dropped a game tonight?
No.
Ooh, that's hot.
I played against Blue Red Prowess. I got that one 2-0. I played Titan, and I got that one 2-0. Because I have, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. I have 12 creatures in my deck. At least in the main, like 12 creatures in the main. I have a 1-of copy of Elshnorn, Mother of Machines.
Ooh, double ETBs, no ETBs for the opponents.
That was really good in my game 1 against Titan. And then the side, I think I have 2 Sanctifier and Beck as well.
You got some Kahira?
No, because you can't Kahira with Stoneforge.
Oh, yeah.
Or Scrub or any of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they are not elements, cats, or what have you. I forget all the caveats. Elemental, cat, beast, and nightmare.
Yeah.
All right, Peyton. Well, I appreciate you coming in here, doing your little victory lap. You will be able to see this on YouTube, hopefully by Tuesday. That's been my average turnaround time on these. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just now seeing this message here. No, I'm not salty. That is Elliot. I'm sorry. I'm just now seeing that. Had the one screen up, didn't have the chat feed up. I'll have to see if I can figure that out. You just taught me something here that I need to see if I can add into. Alright, y'all. So we will be back very shortly. And like I said, thank you for coming in here. You'll be able to rewatch this, and it'll be clipped, and you'll be able to chapter everything. So I think the round's back up, so we will be back very shortly. Alright, y'all. We are back for round 4. That was a very quick intermission. They've been churning through these rounds tonight. That's been really nice. So we are going to end the night with Jund Saga versus Binding Blade with Peyton. We had Matt in here earlier. He talked about the deck. We had Peyton in here just now. So we're going to get into this matchup. You know, I think some key things that, Matt is going to have a fairly easy time dealing with a Stoneforge, running things like Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt, and then Peyton does have control magic for some of Matt's threats, but with cards like Thoughtseize and Inquisition, Matt is able to remove some of that problem. We should have a good match here. Should be fairly interactive, so we should have a lot to play here. Alright, turn 1, Thoughtseize. Stoneforge, Teferi, Archmage's Charm, double Mystic Gate. Takes the Stoneforge. Matt did have a way to deal with that Stoneforge. He also has a way to deal with that Teferi. He has, let's see, Lightning Bolt, Renin 6, Fury, Ragavan. And I believe that's a Tireless Tracker. That's hot. Do like me some Tracker. It's actually really great with Renin 6, regenerating those, looping those lands. Tracker creating clues to make constructs bigger. Alright, there's the Geist. Monkey. Stoneforge. Swinging. Matt's already at 8. Fury should clear up the board. No, it won't, because Geist has hexproof. There's a Termagoyf. Termagoyf is a great Geist blocker. Let's see, we have creature, sorcery, land, and instant, I do believe. I think that Goyf is a 4/5. At minimum, it's a 3/4. At minimum. Alright, I see an Archmage's Charm. We are going to play a Teferi. Tick down, return the Goyf to hand, swing in for 6, taking Matt down to 2. And we're probably going to game 2 here. Oh, no. Yeah, we're picking it up. We're going to game 2. Alright, that was a very quick game 1. Going into game 2 here. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Feel free to chat around. Hello, Morgan 2K7. Welcome in for this modern FNM. Thank you for joining in, seeing what we have going on. We have Jund Saga versus Binding Blade. It is a blue-white control deck with a Stoneforge finisher. Alright, so we are going to have Matt on the play here for game 2 of round 4 of this FNM. Not quite sure exactly how Matt wants to approach it this time. You know, maybe he wasn't expecting Geist of St. Draft, as Peyton and I talked during the intermission. Geist is not a very typical card that you see in Modern anymore. He is a powerful card, just not a very typical one. So that probably caught Matt off guard just a little bit, game 1. Chandra, Urza Saga, Renin 6, Unholy Heat, 2 Saga, and a Mountain. Doesn't have green unless it's an overgrown tomb. That might be an overgrown tomb. And we are going to lead on Peyton down to 6. Leading on Mountain Pass. Scalding Tarn back to Matt. Into a Nurturing Peatland. Into a Wren and 6. Matt goes to 19. Wren 6 ticks up with no valid target. Peyton fetching 19. Looking for a Triome. Start getting that domain going. Glacial Fortress, Leyline or Prismatic Ending on the Wren and 6. Urza Saga, Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Matt's definitely looking up here due to the board state. Alright, Peyton untaps and passes. Saga hits chapter 2 on both. Fable the Mirror Breaker. He is now deciding what to discard. He discards a Saga and a Goyf? Question mark. And a Goyf. Draws 2. Matt creates a construct. Chapter 3 on both sagas here. First Fable of Mirror Breaker is going to flip over into a Kiki Jiki. Now he's trying to decide if he wants to create another construct or if he wants something else to do with his mana here. He's floating a colorless, tutoring an artifact. Mana cost 1 or less, and you might be getting, yep, Shadow Spear. Shadow Spear has been a great card to see tonight. +1/+1, trample and lifelink to the creature, and then it also has the ability to make a permanent lose hexproof or indestructible, which means he would be able to have Geist of St. Traff lose hexproof. That could be big. I do believe that's what Shadow Spear's ability says. Let's look here real quick. Yep, permanents your opponent's control lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn for just 1 generic mana. Alright, Matt could possibly get the Wren and 6 loop going on here. Peyton did play a Sanctifier on Vec, pro black, pro red, not pro colorless, however. And when it enters the battlefield, it exiles all black and red cards from the graves, and then when a black or red card will be put into a grave, it gets exiled instead. Solitude, target the construct. Peyton is not seeing any mana here in a 24 land deck. Swings in, connects with the Ren 6, plays a Relic of Progenitus. Able to nuke that graveyard a little harder with the Relic. Haywire Might from Matt. Able to pop the Relic. He could pop Batter Skull, or he could destroy the Leyline Bindings, or Sword of Fire and Ice. Peyton being kind of mana screwed here is probably going to seal the coffin for him on game 2. But we can see what happens here. As he talked about earlier before this game started, he is a glutton at 3 mana. Tarmogoyf. Pass. What are you going to do, Peyton? Plays a Breeding Pool, tapped. What are you going to do, Peyton? Then a Stoneforge Mystic. Stoneforge finds Cauldra complete. Peyton is at 17, so he's at a very healthy life total here. He doesn't have to worry too much. Matt can create a second Tarmogoyf with Kiki Jiki. Found Spell Bomb, which does clear out Stoneforge. Or it could also clear the Sanctifier on Vec. But I think Matt's more in the game plan of getting rid of Stoneforge here. Unholy Heat Stoneforge. Pop Spell Bomb. Kill Sanctifier. Get Saga back. Liliana of the Veil. It's going to be an Edict effect? Yes. And he keeps that Spell Bomb up. So depending on how big Goyf is here... Yeah, 16. Alright. Yep, going to game 3 here. That's what we like to see. All right. As they're shuffling up here, let's talk about the boardroom real quick. They do have 2 locations, the one we are currently at in South Charleston, as well as Hurricane, West Virginia. On June 3rd, there's going to be a Pioneer DreamHack RCQ, as well as an Apex Invitational qualifier. It'll be Pioneer will be the format. We are going to attempt to stream that event, and it will be played at the Hurricane store. So feel free to tune in if we are able to get it streamed. We do still have to run a cord and figure out some logistical things for it. But we do hope to have that done. And if not, and you are in the area and free on June the 3rd, feel free to come play. It'll be a big event as well as an Apex qualifier. Hurricane, June 3rd. Alright on that? It's not on the website, but it promised June the 3rd. We do have a big event there. Alright, that being said, they are playing, so let's get back to it. Alright, Peyton went Plains Pass, and Matt went Fetch, Blood Crypt, Ragavan. Peyton then goes Mystic Gate into a Sanctifier on Vec. Nurturing Peatland loses a life. Ran in 6, picks back up the Fetch. Matt should be at 16. Liliana, that was a card Matt talked about missing, and he's playing again. Seemed like it did well the last game when we saw it. Here it met a counter spell. Peyton is holding on Double Solitude. Looked like Fire Ice. Sanctifier swinging in at random 6. He does have Double Solitude for the monkey, so that monkey's definitely not connecting here. Matt goes Fetch. Basic Swamp. Swings 2 with the monkey. Solitude's the monkey. Matt gains some life. Now Matt gets to decide what he wants to do. Attempt a Liliana, and it meets another counterspell, this one being in the form of Spell Pierce. Two at random 6 and passed. Peyton is not seeing lands again. Matt, however, is not having that problem thanks to the Ren and 6. Shock a Stomping Ground. See what Matt has here. 4 mana. Is this a Chandra? It is a Chandra. Will this one meet a counter spell? We got die, so it hit the field. Tick up, return that fetch that's got every land on the field. Tick up Chandra. Float a mana, lose a life. Hit Sugu, or Fable of the Mirror Breaker. It's a big turn from Matt there. Sanctifier swings into Rhinos 6. Peyton not seeing lands again. Discards a Fatal Push and a Verdant Catacomb. Returns the Verdant Catacomb with Ren 6 activation. Swamp Thoughtseize. Letting them take a peek at that hand. Solitude, Fire and Ice, Geist, and Solitude. If I'm Matt, I'm probably taking the Fire Ice. But Geist is the pitchable to the Solitudes. So now if Peyton wants to get rid of a 2/2 Goblin, he'd have to pitch a Solitude to a Solitude. I think we're about to see double Goyf. Yeah, double Goyf. One of them gets tapped down with ice. There's that third land Peyton's been looking for. Relic, that'll help with the Goyfs. Tarmogoyf met a Solitude. Fable of the Mirror Breaker flips into a Kikijiki. You have no reason to not tick up Chandra here, see what that top card is, see if you can cast it. Chandra tick up revealed a Ren 6. Swinging 2 creates a second treasure token. Peyton down to 14. Peyton's only got one card in hand. Swings 2 at the Chandra. That's probably the right call. I think Matt's got this one pretty easily. Alright, swung in, copied the Kiki Jiki, or copied the Goblin token with the Kiki Jiki. Ticked up the Chandra, revealed a Thoughtseize, dealt 2 to Peyton. Peyton's in a rough spot here. I'm pretty sure Matt has this game on lock. I don't know what Peyton could pull out to pull this off. Gets bolted down to 5. There's definitely lethal on the board with Ren and 6 ping. Just swinging with goblins. Ticks up Chandra, reveals, hits him for 2. Oh no, he will cast it, the spell bomb. And then, yep, that is game. Matt McAllister with the 4-0 sweep tonight. Congratulations, Matt, on that 4-0 sweep. It was good seeing you there. And, folks, that being said, that will wrap up this FNM tonight. We appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you watching the VODs on YouTube. We will try to get this up as quick as possible. That being said, thank you. Shout out to the Boardroom for letting us do this. Thank you for letting us have this coverage. Shout out to Philip Bowen Music for the intermission music. It is very appreciated. And y'all, we will see you next week. We are going to raid out